Really amazing. It's one of our courses is a body mind integration course for the counseling students in the graduate program. I created on the spot, I created this exercise about the thoughts, feelings, and sensations and integrated with the expressive arts. In my mind, it was a very simple exercise, but the effects afterwards, what these students got out of sitting with thoughts, feelings, and sensations, kind of drawing some lines and then doing some writing around it was phenomenal. It was so amazing. It was just, it re-emphasized to me how in the simplicity of these exercises, there's a directness into our inner knowing that's below the level of our cognition, but then can help us integrate with our cognition and understand ourselves better, understand our lives better. And this was, they had no background in the skills at all before. This was just one exercise, and they were blown away by it. And I was just really impressed, watching the how they integrate it afterwards. Graduate education is wonderful, but sometimes it can stay a little too much of. We want to teach them how to be present with themselves, because when they're present with themselves, then they can be present with others, whichever technique they're using. And then I also had many positive experiences with clients, but this one in particular, I was applying the BSE skills around a particular physical pain this woman was having, and we just started with sensations, and then connecting sensations with thoughts or feelings, and kind of being with what was there. Then it flowed so naturally into the time capsules. And then the time capsule came up, and then it flowed naturally into parts, and then self-compassion for the parts. And then it was like this river of flowing through all the different BSE skills. And the result was this incredibly cathartic and also integrative experience in one session that has totally transformed her outlook on life and her own life, and being able to integrate the things that have occurred in her life, and coming to a place of deep peace and incredible self-compassion. And now she taps into these, even just thoughts, feelings, sensations. She taps into that. And then she taps into the remembering the time capsules, and she taps into self-compassion. And so it's not limited to when you're in the office, when you're in the healing room. It's gone right into her whole life. It's just so powerful and moving, and it's such an honor to kind of midwife that for others. And I feel like the training that I've received, personally has really helped me. And then professionally, it's added to my work in a way that I could have never imagined. Really, truly, Deidre, it's amazing. Yeah. I've been in a lot of different learning situations and learning cohorts, and both as a student and as an instructor. It takes a lot to hold the kind of container you're holding, with the material that comes up for people, and the way that you're able to keep refocusing it back toward the skills and toward the inner wisdom that each has. But also there's something about how you have guided or encouraged or modeled, or all of those things, the interactions between participants, because that's where stuff can really go off the rails. And at least from what I've been witnessing, folks are really learning and practicing how to be in those interactions with each other, like how to attune, mirror, validate, reassure, offer the encouragement, offer the curiosity without like inserting advice, or without pressing for more personal details, or even, it's like just enough the details come out, just enough of the story so people can feel seen, but not so much that it's always about the story and the content, because it is important. The content's important to each one of us, but it's not the whole thing. And it's too easy to get caught in that. And that's a fine line, because you don't want to feel dismissed from your story either.
Very true. The story is important, but it's how do we go underneath the story and find, because otherwise our lives are just, I'm more and more clear on this older I get more, and we're just living a reenactment in different It's crazy.
Right. It's like looking at the story enough to to like honor it, respect it, and then find what's the pattern underneath the story. Like, and how does that pattern connect with other patterns of other stories so that it's the pattern, not the necessarily the particulars,
Yes.
and then unwind the pattern. And that's where I think that's where these skills have been so important. It's like, okay, the respecting the story, because that's sometimes that's part of this, at least for me, part of the story's been my story wasn't respected. It was dismissed. It was gaslit. It was this, it was that. So there's a certain kind of like, well, I want to own my story, right? I don't want to let it go. I want to own it. But with this process, we can like own it and then go under it and go deeper into the pattern. And that's where the unwinding happens. Or at least that's what I've been noticing. So,
Well, I think that's true. That's where the unwinding is. And then the more granular we make it, then we get to choose how we want to put it all back together again.
and the other thing too, I think that you offer a lot is going at your own pace. Go to, using the skills that feel right for you right now. And if this isn't working, oh, just put it aside, just instead of getting hung up on like, oh, I can't do this, or I'm not good at it, or, it's like, hey, maybe that's not the right tool right now. Okay. Do the ones that are working. And eventually, maybe not. You'll feel the other ones will be useful. So personally honoring to each one's path. And that's what I like about this work. One of the many things I like about it. No, it's true. I mean, really, it's deep. What you've integrated is really deep. So I am incredibly grateful.
It's like, I think sometimes, why do I do this? Why
Yeah.
don't I just ride off in the sunset? But it's really about being around people like you who are
Oh,
just changing the world one step at a time. It's magnificent.
oh, thank you. Thank you.